All right, if you're gearing up for the CAPM exam, you know that project scheduling can be a real beast, right? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain and giving you a special preview of how we at Exam Coaches tackle these tricky concepts. Our goal? To get you feeling totally confident for exam day. So let's dive right in.
You know, this quote right here, this is the absolute key. A project schedule, it's so much more than a simple calendar. Think of it like a living, breathing model of your entire project. It's the story of what happens, when, where the landmines are hidden, and most importantly, if you're actually going to hit that deadline. And you can bet the PAM exam wants to know if you can read that story.
And that's the thing, right? The exam doesn't really care if you can just recite definitions from a book. No way. It's all about application. It's testing if you can step into the shoes of a project manager and use that schedule as your #1 tool to guide the project, day in and day out.
Okay, so this is where so many people get stuck. It's the classic problem. You know the terms, you've memorized the flashcards, but then, bam, you get a tricky scenario question on the exam and you just freeze. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, don't worry. You're in exactly the right place because we're about to tackle that head on.
All right, first up, let's talk about the absolute backbone of your project schedule, the critical path. This is that one single chain of tasks that has absolutely zero wiggle room. And let me be clear, getting this is non-negotiable if you want to pass the CAPM.
So, what's the big idea with the critical path method? Well, it's the tool we use to find the longest chain of connected tasks. Now, that might sound weird, but think about it. That longest path is what dictates the shortest possible time your project can take. It's not just some random to-do list. It defines your project's finish line. Any delay here, and I mean any delay, pushes your entire project back, guaranteed.
So here's a classic exam-style thought experiment. An activity gets delayed, and suddenly the entire project finish date shifts. What kind of activity do you think just got hit? See? When the whole timeline moves because just one little thing slipped, what does that tell you? That's the exact kind of critical thinking that CAPM is testing for.
Okay, so you've got your plan, the project is up and running, but how do you really know if you're on schedule? You can't just go by gut feeling, right? You've got to have a way to measure it. And this is your answer. Schedule Variance, or SV for short. This isn't a guess, it's not a vibe, it is a cold, hard number. It's that one piece of data that tells you with no ambiguity whether you're ahead of your plan or, more often, if you're falling behind. Here we go again. A PM sees the project is lagging behind what was planned. So which metric is going to spell that out for them? You see how the exam phrases these things? It's not just about knowing the term, it's about knowing which tool to grab from your toolkit when you've got a specific problem to solve.
But hang on. Before we can even track a schedule, we have to build a good one in the first place. And that all starts with one crucial step: breaking the project down into smaller, bite-sized pieces. Enter the work breakdown structure, or WBS. Now, that phrase, hierarchical decomposition, just means breaking things down from big to small in an organized way. The WBS isn't your average to-do list. Oh no, it is the master roadmap for your entire project. It's the foundation that everything else, your schedule, your budget, you name it, is built on. So, your team needs to figure out every single task for a major deliverable. Where do they start? What's the very first tool they should create? See, the exam is always testing you on the sequence of things. What's the fundamental first move to get organized? You gotta know this stuff. And building one is super logical. At Exam Coaches, we show you how it's done. You start big, right? Identify your major deliverables. Then you break those down. You decompose them into smaller and smaller tasks. And finally, you organize it all into a neat tree structure. It's simple, it's clear, and it is so effective. Okay, last big piece of the puzzle here. A truly great project manager understands one thing. The schedule does not live on an island. For it to actually work, it has to be connected to, well, everything else. This is a huge theme on the CAPM. These tools can't just exist in their own little silos. They have to be integrated. Think about it. Your schedule affects your quality standards affect your schedule. Your budget hits both of them. It's all connected. So take your quality management plan. This is the document that defines what done actually looks like, and more importantly, what done right means. And if you have tasks that need extra review cycles to meet those high standards, well, your schedule better have that time built in. They are totally linked. And then you've got the integration management plan. Honestly, just think of this as the superglue holding the entire project together. It's the master playbook that dictates how all the different pieces, schedule, cost, quality, scope, all of it are going to play nicely together. And this last one really brings it all home. A PM needs to make sure activities line up with both quality standards and the big picture project goals. So, what planning documents help them do that? This question forces you to think across different areas, and that's exactly the kind of thinking that separates the pros from the amateurs. So, the big question is, how do you get good at this kind of integrated thinking for the exam? Well, that's exactly where the exam coach's method comes into play. Look, we're not just going to read you definitions out of a textbook. Anybody can do that. Our entire approach is built to go one critical step beyond that, to focus on what will actually score you points when it matters. We train you to spot these concepts in the wild, inside those tricky CAPM exam questions. It's all about learning to see the clues in a scenario and instantly connect them back to the right tool or framework, just like we've been doing here. Because at the end of the day, that's the secret. It's not about memorizing what a schedule is. It's about truly understanding how a schedule works. Because that understanding is what leads you straight to the correct answer every time. So, what you saw today, we've really only just scratched the surface. If you're ready to go beyond just memorizing terms and start really mastering these frameworks for your exam, well, the full system is waiting for you inside. It's time to take the next step on your CAPM journey with us at Exam Coaches.